Hello and welcome to Limitless Talk with me, Katie. It is Sunday the 6th of April. It has just gone past 10 to 8 at night. This is the latest I've ever recorded a podcast, but I wasn't going to bother, to be completely honest. I was going to leave it and just try and record it tomorrow and think, okay, when am I going to fit it in tomorrow, and the likes, all of that sort of thing going around in my head. But I was like, nope, do you know what? I have got a lot to say, a lot to talk about. It's been an incredible week since the last time we shared a conversation, certainly since I recorded my last podcast. So I thought, I can't settle down for the night until I talk about it, until I share with you what's been going on, what's been happening, lessons, shares, everything, and the likes of that. But before I do, I wanted to start with a massive thank you. I, over the past couple of weeks in particular, have had messages of support, messages of liking, if that is even a word, messages and people even face to face saying about this podcast, saying about Limitless Talk. And you probably hear the surprise in my voice because I suppose I am in a way. I don't know, I think I go through a kind of phase where I don't think people are listening, that I'm just talking to myself and it's actually just my own little therapy. But that there is people out there like yourself who's listening to this right now, who are watching this right now, if you're watching on YouTube, who are taking the time to listen to what I have to say. Sometimes I think I'm talking absolute nonsense, and I probably am a lot of the time, but it's just a massive thank you for listening, for watching, and taking the time out of your own time to do that. It's still a bit strange, it's still a bit surprising, but I just wanted to start by showing my gratitude and appreciation for that. It really is incredible, and just keep on listening if this is helping you, if it's giving you something to go away for yourself. And I will keep my commitment to sharing what I have to say in our episodes where it's just me and you, and also when I get to have a chat with someone else incredible, some incredible individuals I've had on so far and upcoming. So yes, just thank you once again. But let's get into it. So I wanted to chat about the fact that on the 29th of March, I, along with 5 other colleagues in the funeral industry, took part in a charity cycle from Glasgow to Edinburgh, from Bishopbriggs in particular, one of the newer crematoriums at Bishopbriggs, right to Murrayfield in Edinburgh, all in the name of My Name's Dory charity for our president of our trade association, the Society Allied Independent Funeral Directors. They're very much a tongue twister. And you could say that we were a bunch of misfits, coming from different walks of the funeral industry, different fitness levels, different people. I was the only female, along with 5 other of my male colleagues within the industry, and everything that could have went wrong did. We were late in starting. We had my chain came off my bike, so it got sorted. We got the worst type of gale force winds you probably could get for the day it was. We had horrible rain. We had a period of time where we got lost going in the opposite direction, ending up in a forest to be exact. The support van that we had broke down and ended up on the back of a tow truck, and we were still cycling, bearing in mind this was just after 10 o'clock in the morning that we set off, and we were still going at 10 to 4. Some parts of Scotland I didn't even know existed. I was cycling on the paths of a big fancy house at one point that I had no idea where it was, and I'd come from Scotland. And at 10 to 4, 4 of us out of the 6 of us had the last little bit where we went in the car to Murrayfield. At 10 to 4, there was a decision to be made at that point of, is this actually going to benefit me with the training and my half marathon preparation that I'm about to undertake? Bearing in mind this was starting on the Monday, adding an extra session into my week. How cold am I? Very. How wet and soaking from the rain? Very. Can I feel my hands and my feet? No. Am I going to end up maybe feeling not so well? Probably. So at 10 to 4 the decision was made, and I got in the car to Murrayfield. So yeah, kind of a 46, 47 mile cycle. I did just under 40 miles in total in the last 8 to get to Murrayfield via the car. Am I sorry about that? Absolutely not, because I knew my limit. I was fighting the wind a lot of the time. It was very much a headwind in our faces, to the side. We were cycling a lot along a canal, and the wind was testing me, because I'm pretty sure it was trying to put me in the canal at some point. But 6 people who... I've not been on a road bike for 6 years. We're not cyclists. We don't go out every day cycling. We do our own things. We do our own different things. We're very, very busy individuals. We work in a very demanding industry. And 6 of us, there's a little bit of fear, nervousness and anxiety going on. The 6 of us got together for a charity, got together, became sort of a family in our support. My mum and dad were a part of that support, travelling with us at each point, supporting us, taking pictures, taking videos, making sure we had fuel to put in the system. And it was an experience that I absolutely loved. I would say it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. And I'm sharing this with you because it just shows that you don't need to have done a lot of cycling. You don't need to have done a lot of a thing to be able to go and do something, enjoy it, get a buzz and an excitement from it, feel elated that you've achieved something very, very different, and had fun. Like, I had fun for a Saturday. I had fun. My parents had fun. It was a different type of day. Yes, okay, my mum and dad are used to being my support, doing half marathons and different challenges that I've done. But this was something different. This was me representing the business that I work for. This was representing our family into second generation business. And just getting to be with people that I've grown to know in the industry over a period of time. Bearing in mind, a lot of these people I have got to know since I was a 13, 14-year-old girl. And I am 28 now. I can't work that out in my head because it's too late tonight while I'm talking. But I just felt that this was important to come and share with you, because that first part of that cycle made me think, made me relax, made me realise that I'm doing something stress-free. I'm doing something where, yes, I had a few bits of anxiety and nervousness and things like that, but nothing in the way that the previous version of myself, I could handle it. Like a few years ago, I would have been like, nah, do you know what? I'm going to back out of this. I'm not going to do it. Because I would have let the anxiety, I would have let the nervousness, I would have let everything creep in, and I would have let it take over me. But I was in complete control doing that. I realised that I'm the fittest that I've been, that actually, because I've been injured for the kind of 3 months at the start of the year, I was able to put my heart and soul into a different type of training, to really be focused, to really be obsessed with what I was doing, and to really want to go on that cycle. And not only let myself down, but have 5 other people that I didn't want to let down. So having that motivation and momentum behind me and putting that on myself really helped me go into that and really enjoy the experience. Really, really enjoyed that experience. I do want to mention at this point that everybody was asking me after it, did I have a sore bum? How was my bum? My bum was absolutely fine. I had so many layers on. I actually bought a pair of proper cycling shorts with women padding bits and all of that. And my bum was not sore. My body was a bit tired the next day, but actually, all my training, all the work that I'd put in, all the commitment, all the sacrifice, I suppose, for kind of the first part of my year that was complete opposites of what it should have been with all the goals I had, before even getting to the cycle that I had to cancel due to injury, it's just shown that no matter what's going on in your life, no matter the challenges, no matter what you've got going on, you can still go out and achieve something. Yes, you might have to pivot from what the original plan was, but achievement can still be made. Success can still happen. And we've just been at an AGM weekend in Glasgow. We got to celebrate that fact. And the charity has raised over £30,000 to this point, as I'm recording this right now. I think there's a bit more. But we raised a hell of a lot of money for an incredible, incredible charity. We got to come together this weekend to not only celebrate the year that it's been within the industry and on the trade association that we're a part of, we got to get together and all these different, and I'm going to talk about it in another podcast, but I wanted to talk about the cycle in particular because it's, and I suppose it's not me talking about the cycle really, it's me talking about the fact that I want you to think about something that you could do for yourself. You could actually go, right, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start walking every day for 20 minutes for the rest of the month. And I'm going to commit to that. I'm going to remember what Katie said about motivation, confidence, positivity, about convincing ourselves that you can't do it. I'm going to remember everything that Katie's spoken about. And I'm actually going to put in work for myself because I want to feel the way that Katie did. Now, Katie would just like to tell you in this given moment, and I would just like to say in this given moment, that it's not always the case. But the way that cycle made me feel, I went into the first week of my half marathon training, adding an extra session into my week, going from 6 sessions to 7 sessions, going into my first ever double training day, eating calories, thinking, how the hell am I going to eat all these calories today? Keeping the journey going of learning how to fuel my body. Loving the fact that I'm giving my energy into the right places that I really, really want to, like my work, like my future, like my podcast, like this, like all of my little things that just make me tick, give me joy, give me, that feeling of success is because I am doing all of the hard work. Some people might want to think about it that it's selfish, but no. Knowing I had that cycle kept me going when it would have been so easy to drop my standards, so easy to drop becoming the Operation Everyday Athlete that I've become obsessed about because I really want to be a podium runner, like I've spoken about in the previous episode. And it's like, no, you have to keep going. And it's a big question. It's like, right, what can I still do even though I can't do run? Well, I could learn how to be the best cyclist. I thought I was Chris Hoy last week. I thought I was Victoria Pendleton. I thought I was all these cyclists that had won a gold medal, and I'd convinced myself that I'd already won the gold medals. And it was purely just because I needed to get into the mindset of an athlete, of someone that trains to their hardest, that pushes themselves every single session, that fuels their body because they're going to be on top of that Olympic podium. And some might be like, but yeah, that's easy for you to say, Katie, you've just went and done that. I haven't. I had to sit and read it. I had to listen to podcasts. I had to have conversations with my coaches. I had to ask questions. Like, how can I do this? Why am I doing this? Where is this going to lead me? How good am I going to be? How good can I possibly be? What do I need to do to be that 1% closer to being that everyday athlete? And everything like that got me through that cycle. It was a charity cycle, right? I am not saying it was a Tour de France cycle. But for me to cycle along thinking, this is easier than I ever thought it was going to be. My body is so much more efficient than it ever could be. That version of myself that was undernourished, that was beginning to eat away at her own body, that goodness knows what was going on in that underweight Katie, to have that moment, to be like, I am so thankful that I went through that, to learn how to nourish and take care of my body as well as my mind. It all connects and it all comes back to everything that we've shared and spoke about in conversations before. That's what that cycle taught me. It was a point where I got to reflect, I got to review, I got to reset and be ready for what was coming next. And I didn't realise it till in those moments. And sometimes you don't. Sometimes you could be out with a friend or sharing a coffee, or sometimes for me sitting with a family and realise that that's where you're supposed to be. That's supposed to have happened. Whether you believe in the spiritual universe telling you things, that would be up to you. And okay, I am not 100% believing in that, but I do believe that everything happens for a reason. My mum always taught me that. Famous Fiona always taught me that, for those of you that know her like that. But she always taught me that. And I believe that actually getting injured was allowing me to be on that cycle, to reflect on the year that it's been. Bearing in mind in January, when I spoke about in one of January's episodes how low I was, how I was giving up everything that was making me good, that was making me progress, purely because something in my head was just not clicking, and I needed to go through that moment to get to where I am now. So it comes down to the questions that you ask yourself. It comes down to the commitment that you're willing to put in, the sacrifices that you might have to make to be your 1% better self. And it's a choice. It's a choice. I had a choice to do that cycle or not. I could have easily have backed out on it. There wasn't a commitment where you must do it. But for me, I must do it. Because I want to be better. I want to do something different. I want to do something that's bigger than me. Bigger than just doing it for me. I had 5 other people I was doing it for. I was a charity I was doing it for. I was doing it because I was the only female representing the women in the funeral industry at that point. All those reasons are bigger than me. And they're exciting. And people are like, why are you sharing all this crap, Katie? Like, why are you sharing about the cycle? I'm not sharing it to make my head get bigger, to sound like I'm some sort of amazing person, things like that. I'm just showing that as a human being, reality is that you can be in a shit place. You can begin to look after yourself by taking very, very small steps forward. And those small steps can lead to achieving goals, hitting achievements, getting to your targets, bringing a level of a success that actually 3 months ago I never believed I would be able to do. I honestly believed I wouldn't have been able to do that cycle. And that's what it's all about. It's me just taking this moment, using the cycle, using that experience to just reaffirm the message. You know, we've just come out of Q1 of 2025. We're just now into the beginning of Q2. What can you do in April, May and June that allows you to have maybe something similar that I did? Because we're all capable of having it. We can all have it. We do all have it. But it's a choice, and if you go and fight for it, it's a choice of, I'm going to do something that's a little bit bigger than me. It's a choice of asking the right questions, asking yourself the right questions. It's not asking a mum, a dad, a sister, a friend, a colleague. It's not asking them. It's asking yourself. Again, the power of self-talk that we spoke for. That's where it comes in. It comes in handy. That is why it's such a underrated tool, and I will shout about that till I'm blue in the face. It's an underrated tool that needs to be used more and more and more. And it can just make the difference in that moment. It really, really can. That's why you get to points like this and it's just like, do you know what? I can't wait for what's next. I know it's going to be hard. I know I'm going to feel shit at times, but it's really, really, really exciting. And that's what it's all about. That's why I've shared about my experience of a charity cycle, because it was more for me than a charity cycle. It made me know that injury isn't an excuse. Injury isn't the reason to give up. It's actually a reason to keep going. Okay, you do have to adapt a lot, but you can still achieve so much. You can still do something different and come out of it feeling like you are a better person. That you've put your energy and hard work into something and you have got something out of it. That you can go away and go, do you know what? 6 months ago, I would never have been that person, been able to do that. So see all the work I've done in the last 6 months, that got me to that point. Now, I could have been disappointed by not doing the last 8 miles. I wasn't. Because the challenges that we had faced as a group and as individuals along the route of that cycle outweighed 8 miles of going in a car, not on a bike. I can assure you of that. And that's the difference of a mindset that's not a 0 to 1 mindset. It's a 1+ mindset. Because it's kind of like the positives outweigh the negatives, if you can think about it like that. And that's exactly what it is. I knew that there was so much more to this, that actually the better decision, the 1% better than me, and the biggest progress and benefit in that moment was to put my hand up and say, do you know what? These last 8 miles, I can't do it. It's not a failure. It's known in those moments that we are strong, resilient, empowered individuals to put our hand up and go, no, or go, I need help, whatever it is. And I felt actually that was one of the biggest positives of my day, being able to do that and having the backing of the others at that point. Because I asked myself the bigger questions, like I mentioned before, asking myself the bigger questions. Is this going to benefit me? Is it going to be a longer term thing? I had other circumstances that I needed to think about when it came to work of that week, the working week that was coming up, the fact that I'm going to America in a few weeks. Like, there was a lot of things that I still had to consider. And when you think about all of that, you're the better person for making the decisions. Again, progress, progress, progress. That's what my coach talks about me for the last kind of 4 or 5 weeks, is it's progress, progress, progress. Because I asked the question, you know, Christian, my coach is injured at the moment, and I asked him, you know, how does it feel? And he's like, I can still make progress. I was like, oh, that's what I'm doing. Like, why do you? And I felt silly for asking that, but actually, once it got explained, because I was asking that question, no question is really silly, even though I felt silly for it. It just puts the perspective into reality, into understanding. And I felt as if I'd been educated. So I hope me rambling on about the cycle, getting it all out, is just showing that it doesn't need to be like a charity cycle you do. It could be getting through a challenging time with family. It could be getting through a challenging construction building site, like your house, if you're getting something done in the house. It can be anything, and it doesn't need to be big. It can be something really, really small, but you can adapt all of those habits and behaviours, all of these learnings, all of these using of learning about different experiences, and put it into your own perspective. Use the tools that you've got available in your own toolbox. Know that you're not alone in how you feel, but you've got a choice. You've got a choice how you respond, how you're proactive or reactive to it, how you choose to be positively compared to being negative, how you choose in the questions that you ask yourself, what is benefiting you right now, what is not benefiting you right now, what you're committing to for yourself in order for you to be your 1% better person tomorrow, and just what success, what goals, what achievements and what targets you want to hit, how quickly you want to hit them, and how committed and obsessed you are to being it. And if you've got crazy wacky goals that I seem to be becoming kind of accustomed to getting, which kind of feels weird in itself, and I suppose I'll talk about that in the future probably at some point, it's never a bad thing. You don't need to feel silly about it. I do feel a little bit silly about it, but that's just because I've never had the experience of it before. And again, the biggest progress is me standing here telling you all about it at 8:15 on a Sunday night. Why not? So thank you very much for listening to my ramblings. I feel as if it's just been that, but I think it's important to share that, and I'm sure there's plenty of messages and things in there. So go and be your limitless self. Know that you're capable, you're strong, you're an empowered individual. And remember, if you want to subscribe on YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. It's Limitless Talk, and also available to listen to on Spotify. It's Limitless Talk by Katie. And again, please tell your friends, your families, your worst enemies, people that you think that this may help. You never know in these moments. And if it helps you, and it helps you be 1% better tomorrow, then I am so glad that we shared this conversation today. So go be you, and I will share a conversation with you very, very soon.